Press your finger against the bone just above your temple. Harder. Feel how solid it is. That is your main armor. It protects everything you are, your memories, your fears, your identity. Now imagine it being sawed through. Right now, you are lying in the dirt. 4 grown men are pinning you down. They reek of rancid fat, soot, and animal sweat. A man leans over you. In his hand is a piece of volcanic glass, obsidian. It is sharper than the finest modern scalpel because its edge fractures down to the thickness of a single molecule. And this piece of glass is about to slice into your skin. Without anesthesia, 10,000 years before the invention of the first aspirin tablet or a single drop of antiseptic. No mysticism, no evil spirits, just the raw, cold pragmatism of the Stone Age. Sounds like sadism and a guaranteed death sentence? You are wrong. In a few minutes, you will understand why this bloody mess is the best thing that could have happened to you, and why modern surgeons still bite their tongues in envy of these savages. You won't even feel the first incision. Obsidian cuts the skin so cleanly that your pain receptors don't have time to fire. But a second later, warm blood floods your eyes and you hear a sound. Scraping, stone grinding against your skull. This sound doesn't come from the outside. It resonates right inside your head, vibrating through your jaw and into your teeth. Why are they doing this? Yesterday on the hunt, you took a club to the crown of your head from a rival tribesman. Or maybe the hoof of a wounded deer slipped and struck your temple. Externally, the bone held, but a vessel burst beneath your skull. The blood has nowhere to go. A hematoma forms, growing by the hour, putting pressure on your brain. Your reality shatters. You go blind in one eye, you vomit bile, the left side of your body goes numb, and a migraine explodes inside your head so violently you want to smash your forehead against the rocks. In the Neolithic era, this is a 100% death sentence. You slowly fade away in convulsions. The savages didn't know the words intracranial pressure. They didn't have CT scanners, but they weren't stupid. They possessed a colossal, brutal power of observation. The shaman saw, a man is in agony after a blow to the head, something inside is wrong, something is pressing and killing his persona. So the logic is simple. You need to make a hole and let it out. But that is only the first step. The real shock hit scientists when they began finding these skulls by the thousands all over the world, from France to Peru. This wasn't an isolated case of madness. This was an established global practice of the Stone Age. Furthermore, it wasn't an execution or a ritual sacrifice, it was salvation. And your chances of survival on this filthy dirt floor were actually higher than in a civilized European hospital of the 19th century. Right now, your internal skeptic should be screaming, "What total nonsense! What kind of survival rate exists in primeval filth? The patient should have rotted from blood poisoning in 3 days." Logical? Yes, absolutely. If you were cut open in Victorian London by the unwashed hands of a celebrity surgeon, you would definitely kick the bucket from sepsis. But here's what the facts say when these skulls are placed under an electron microscope. Over 70% of the findings show perfect, smoothed edges around the holes. The bone had time to heal. A new bone callus had formed. This is irrefutable evidence. After a person had their skull opened with a stone knife, they lived for another 10, 20, 30 years. They had time to grow old and die of completely different causes. How on earth is that possible without sterility? The secret lies in the material itself. A steel scalpel, even the most expensive one, looks like a saw under a microscope. It leaves ragged microscopic tracks where bacteria get trapped. Obsidian cleaves perfectly smooth at an atomic level. It parts tissues without traumatizing neighboring cells. Less damage means less inflammation. Besides, the shamans weren't idiots. They washed the wound with running water and poured herbal decoctions over it. Things we would call natural antibiotics and astringents today, like oak bark, plantain, and moss. A savage medicine that paradoxically worked better than the science of enlightened Europe thousands of years later. But let's get back to Earth. It's too early to relax. The operation has been going on for 2 hours now. You are shaking violently from painful shock. The skin on your head is pulled back with leather straps, and the bone beneath the obsidian scraper is getting thinner and thinner. You drift in and out of consciousness from the pain, occasionally waking up to see the grim face of the operator covered in ash. The shaman is exhausted. His fingers are cramping from the tension. One wrong press, 1 extra millimeter of pressure, and the brittle volcanic glass will plunge through the bone right into your gray flannel brain. Instant death or permanent paralysis. And here comes the main shift. Why is he doing this? Why would a primeval tribe, where every person is an extra mouth to feed and an additional burden, waste half a day, resources, scarce clean water, and energy on a cripple with a smashed head? There are no pension funds or humanism in the Stone Age. If you can't run after a mammoth or gather roots, you are baggage. And baggage is left in the woods for the wolves to eat. This is the harsh evolutionary law of nature. The animal world is rational to the point of nausea. If the leader of a pack is wounded or weakens, a younger one takes his place and the old one is simply abandoned. But for some reason, the humans didn't do that. They didn't leave you to die in the bushes. 4 strong men didn't go out to hunt. They stayed in the cave and held your shoulders. The women kept the fires burning to warm your cooling body. The shaman spent hours scraping away your bone, risking his reputation. They fed you pre-chewed meat and gave you water from an animal skull while you lay unconscious for weeks after the surgery. Because it is precisely in this grim, bloody moment amidst the primeval darkness and dirt that what you call humanity today is born. Trepanation in the 10th millennium BC is not a sign of wildness. It is history's first rebellion against nature. It is a declaration by man. We will not give our own to death just because he is temporarily broken. And here, the scale of history suddenly shrinks to the size of your own life. Look at yourself. We live in a comfortable, safe world. We are surrounded by plastic, screens, antibiotics, and emergency services. Trepanation is now done under general anesthesia, in a sterile operating room where sensors monitor pressure and a laser or an ultrasonic burr cuts the bone. But has the essence of the process changed? When your life falls apart, when you are crushed to the floor by a heavy crisis, depression, the loss of a loved one, or a mental catastrophe, you feel exactly what that hunter in the dirt felt. An absolute ringing helplessness before the darkness inside your own head. It feels like your skull is cracking from invisible pressure, from thoughts, from pain that cannot be put into words. You are locked in this cranial box and nobody outside can hear you. And in that moment, the last thing you need is casual reassurance or dry advice from the internet. You need someone who is not afraid to approach you in your absolute worst, filthiest, most broken state. Someone who will metaphorically take a sharp knife, squat down right next to you in your dirt, and share this operation with you. Someone who will cut open your comfort zone, shatter your illusions, but let the accumulated poison out. Even if it hurts terribly in the process. The Stone Age wasn't kind, it was effective. They understood. An experienced human, even with a hole in his head, is more valuable than the well-fed, safe selfishness of a loner. The scraping near your ear finally stops. Carefully using his fingers or a tweezer made from a heron's bone, the shaman removes a small, semicircular fragment of your skull. The bloody pressure inside your head vanishes that very second. Your brain breathes again. A sharp morning light pierces through the cave entrance, hitting your eyes. You make your first deep, clean breath in days. The air smells of smoke, wet grass, and life. You survived. A perfect round window will remain in your bone forever. Your personal ventilation. Your eternal scar. In a couple of months, the wound will completely close with thick skin. Your hair will grow back, and you will go into the forest again, holding a spear and protecting your tribe. In the 10th millennium BC, people didn't know the wheel, didn't know how to write, built homes out of mammoth bones, and prayed to the sun. They had nothing of what we call civilization, but they already had the main thing, the ability to save each other where nature gave a strict order to finish off. They took risks, they made mistakes, they cut through the living, but they carved a path to the light through bone and blood. Touch your temple one more time. It's smooth, safe, solid. But remember that all of your solidity and confidence today stand upon millions of years of someone's wild, crazy, primeval care.